I am certainly glad to be here with the Martin County Lunch and Learn, Genealogy Society, Historical Society, everybody. One big happy family. And I thank you again for inviting me to present about the Sons of the American Revolution. We have the DAR, and I don't call them our competition because y'all are going after the ladies and we go after your husbands and your sons and grandsons and whoever we can get. But it has been a pleasure to be able to work with all these different DAR chapters. Now, are you ladies, are y'all DAR?
Yeah. I've been told I was.
Okay, so you've been told. And listen, it took me 2 years. I was told I was, and then I found it. And I follow, my ancestor is Nathan Mayo, just like all of you guys, you ladies are. And, but anyway, we're going to talk a little bit about the SAR, what they do, and then after that, we'll talk a little bit about how you can join. Or as one of you ladies asked, how can you make my husband join? Can you tell me? You know, I don't subscribe to whippings, scourgings, or anything of that nature. But a good loving pat upside the head sometimes gets their attention. Either that or tell them, you don't get no dinner until you fill out this application. That's another way, because we men live on our stomachs. So, let's begin with our presentation. The overview of the Sons of the American Revolution. We were created as an organization, ancestral organization that, quite frankly, we commemorate the memories of our founding fathers and our men and women who served in the American Revolution. And that's a variety of ways that can occur. The Sons of the American Revolution actually got their start as the Sons of the Revolutionary Sires. And it was formed in 1876. The Sons of the American Revolution was organized on April 30th, 1889. And then we were chartered by an act of Congress on June 9th, 1906. Our missions and our goals, and I love our mission statement. The Sons of the American Revolution honors our Revolutionary War patriot ancestors by promoting patriotism, serving in our communities, educating and inspiring future generations about the founding principles of our country. We remember our past by honoring those who served or assisted the colonies during the war. We promote core values. By protecting our Constitution and perpetuating the American ideals and traditions. And then when we are involved in shaping young minds by educating our youth about our Declaration, about our Constitution, and because it's those ideals contained in those two documents, coupled with the beliefs of our founding fathers, that we can actually go and read the original papers. Digitization has been wonderful because we can sit there and read the letters and the prayers of George Washington. We can read the letters between such, and I'm going to say this, progressive revolutionary women like Abigail Adams. Read those letters between her and her husband, John Adams. We have all of this at our fingertips now. And we're able to share this with the future generations. Because I'm going to tell you, folks, it's up to us to teach our young people. Our schools have so many things thrown at them, our kids in school. And we are able to talk about the ideals just on how our country came to be, and how it has survived almost 250 years. Who would have ever thought that America would have survived this long? And we have, and we continue to do it. And I think it's just a wonderful testament to those men and women who bravely stood up to the tyranny of King George and said, enough, enough. You know, I think that's one of the things I love about the American people. We're very resilient. And there comes a point in time we kind of stay to ourselves. But there comes a point in time we've had enough. And we say, enough, enough. And we stand firm on our principles. And I admire that about our country. Continuing on. SAR is I use that as the shorthand, the Sons of the American Revolution, is the largest male lineage organization there is in the United States of America. We have over 37,000 members, and not just in here in the country, but worldwide. We have societies for our states, the membership, the way it's structured. But we have a French society, we have a Germany society, we have we have an international society for all the other smaller countries. And we are truly on the worldwide web, and we are a worldwide organization. Our societies, we have one for every state, and we have over 500 local chapters. And our national headquarters is in Louisville, Kentucky. I'm among friends. I can share you why we ended up in Louisville. We had a wonderful donor years ago give us a building in Louisville, Kentucky. We've since moved from that building. We had to have more space. And I'll tell you a little bit about that in a minute. But the SAR packed their bags because it was getting rather expensive maintaining a headquarters. As all my daughters of the American Revolution know, maintaining a headquarters in Washington, D.C. So we packed our bags. Now, that makes for a long trip from Roper, North Carolina to Louisville, Kentucky, and I had to make that trip twice a year as a national officer. But, you know, it's okay. We're where we're needing to be. And he provided us a place to go. And it's actually more central, if you think about it. If you look at it, Louisville, Kentucky on the map, we actually are able, our folks in the West are able to get to us a whole lot quicker than if we were still in D.C. We have had, look at the compatriot presidents we have. These are men whose ancestors fought during the American Revolution. From George W. Bush being the newest of that line, all the way back to Rutherford B. Hayes. And you see that FDR, Harry Truman, Dwight Eisenhower, they're all members. And we've just recently lost, of course, Jimmy Carter, who was a compatriot. We like to focus on outreach and education. We like to design programs that will teach not only adults, but our youth about the American Revolution. We have a series of SAR youth programs and awards that we strive in those programs to promote character, increase confidence, foster civic responsibilities, and develop critical thinking skills. Every year at Congress, which is our annual meeting, our annual Congress, we're able to watch the finals of one of those programs. It's the Rumba Oration Contest, where these kids, and I'm amazed to call them kids because they're actually head and shoulders above us adults, some of them are. But they will give up, and the winners, the top usually 6, will get up and give their speeches that are done without any notes, without any props, just a microphone. They blow you away, and when I walk out, that I've been blessed to watch the last several. When I walk in at night, I come out encouraged, uplifted, because those kids are our future. And I can look at those 6 and say, our future is in good hands. And of course, we have others. We touch into ROTC programs and all of that sort of thing. But it's our youth, folks. They're our future, not only of our organizations, but of our country. We have a genealogy library in Louisville, and we have the largest collection, one of the largest collections around the world of historical documents and materials. And we use it as a piece of a puzzle that promotes our mission statement. We have started building, or in the process of building, our gift to the nation for the 250th anniversary. We are building a museum and education center. And in there we have a variety of different artifacts, including a couple that even I've given. That, as you know, as you guys have heard before, I love medicine and that sort of thing. I've given a bleeding device, and I've given a cleister. You should have watched me going through the airport with the cleister. Okay? And there's the Museum and Education Center. And there's a video. If you go to YouTube, you could feel free to watch it. And then locally, we have fun doing all sorts of things, from Flag Day programs to color guard programs. And boy, if you like to get dressed up, everybody loves us, including you DAR ladies. We love to give historical programs, and I was doing that before I got in, and I've continued to do that while I've been a member. And then I couldn't leave out aiding the daughters, aiding our daughters. And there we are, and these are, for the most part, local. We're always participating, helping with the Daughters' wonderful program in Edenton, July 4th program. And if you've never been, you need to go. It is an amazing thing. I almost put the picture in there of the crowd. It's amazing when you have 300 and 400 people all gathered on the historical green in Edenton, and they're all there to hear about our nation's history. The middle one there is one of the early, and we're providing color guard down in New Bern. It's the Early New Bern Resolves program. And then the last one is me giving prayer yesterday at the Constitution Day program. So, how do you join? You determine if you're eligible. And with all you daughters in here working with your husbands, that's not going to be hard. You find a local chapter. For here, you've got 3 chapters. You've got Halifax Resolves in Halifax, North Carolina. You have the General George Washington chapter in Greenville. And then you have the Albemarle chapter, which is based in Edenton. So you have 3 pieces. And that's the end. And he's standing up, so he says, I've talked too long. But thank you guys for allowing me to talk to you. Any questions? Okay, now I'll turn it over to, I guess you're going to follow me.
I'm going to follow you, yeah. I'm going to repeat a whole lot of things you said, too.
Well, we are, that's one of the coolest things is the DAR working together And, we working together and doing what we do.
Okay. I told him I didn't think I needed this microphone. I talk loud. So if I bust your ears out, I'll turn it off.
Chris.
You're welcome.
And I do have one little thing to add about the DAR.
No.
The National Society Daughters of the American Revolution was founded on October 11th, 1890. During a time that was marked by revival and patriotism and intense interest in the beginning of the United States of America. Women felt the desire to express their patriotic feelings and were frustrated by the exclusion from the men's organizations. They said we couldn't join the SAR. So, yeah, they were frustrated, so they formed their own perpetual memory of their ancestors who fought to make the country free and independent. This group of pioneering women in the nation's capital formed their own organization as the Daughters of the American Revolution and carried on the torch of patriotism ever since. The objectives are very similar to what the SAR is and have for 135 years been active in service to our country. Historical, to perpetuate the memory and spirit of the men and women who achieved American independence. To carry out the injunction of Washington in his farewell address to the American people, to promote an object of primary importance, institutions for general diffusion of knowledge, developing an enlightened public opinion. And patriotic, to set, cherish, maintain, and extend the institutions of American freedom, to foster true patriotism and love of country, and aid in securing for all mankind the blessings of liberty. Since the founding in 1890, the DAR has admitted more than 1 million women. And the requirements to be a member of the DAR are that you're 18 years old, regardless of race, religion, ethnic background. You can prove lineal descent from a patriot of the American Revolution. Those women are eligible. The DAR recognizes patriots not only as soldiers, but anyone who contributed to the cause of American freedom, which means they gave aid, they gave horses, they gave arms, they gave food to the source. To find out if your ancestors recognized by the DAR as a revolutionary patriot, you can use the reform at dar.org to go on and look and see if your patriot is there. The DAR right now has over 190,000 members with 3,000 chapters worldwide, including chapters in 14 countries and 1 territory. And as I said, we have admitted over 1 million people. So we encourage people to consider membership in the DAR, a volunteer women's service in a nonprofit, non-political organization that honors and preserves the legacy of our patriot ancestors. Nearly 250 years ago, American patriots fought and sacrificed for the freedoms we enjoy today. As a member of the DAR, you can contribute to this legacy by actively promoting patriotism, preserving American history, and securing America's future through better education for children. The founders of our chapter were 4 ladies from the Washington, D.C. area, and I'm not going to tell you everything about them, I'll tell you the names of them anyway. One of them was Ellen Hardin Walworth. They met at this, whose house? They met at Lockwood's house in Washington, D.C. because they were frustrated they couldn't join the SAR, so they created their own. Ms. Walworth was a prolific historian, author, and suffragist. In addition, she delivered or published papers for several of the organizations to which she belonged, and she was an authority on the battlefields of Saratoga and published an account of the Burgoyne campaign. That was Walworth. Mary Desha said to her people, her friends, "I am good for any amount of work." And true to her word, the quote from Mary Desha, is first appeared in DAR history, predicts her energetic commitment to the society and reveals her faith in the value of hard work for its own sake. Mary Smith Lockwood was both the founder of the Washington Travel Club and then president of the Women's Press Club in Washington, D.C. She was the widow of a Union soldier. She was a member of the Women's Relief Corps, auxiliary to the Grand Army of the Republic, and she was active in the women's suffragist movement and held the position of lady manager at the World's Columbian Exposition in Chicago in 1893. And Eugenia Washington was the other one. Eugenia Washington was immutable opinion that the NSDAR must be a patriotic organization founded on the service of its members' ancestors. It is said she opposed the proposal to make eligibility for DAR membership contingent on descent from officers alone. She advocated for the democracy of service rather than the aristocracy of rank. So those are the 4 ladies who founded the DAR. There is a memorial monument in Washington, D.C. outside of the building of a lady, and it has those 4 ladies' names on there. Okay, find my piece of paper here. I wrote down all the things we did. It took a long time. Took a long time. Our meetings are the 3rd Tuesday of every month from September through May. We meet at 11 o'clock at the West End Baptist Church. If you're interested, we'd love to have you come and visit and then maybe join our group. We have projects during the course of the year. We have projects from our Veterans Committee. We provide clothes for the clothing closet in the Veterans Center in Greenville. And we also usually participate in the veterans and the veteran women's spouses baby shower in the spring. We support the JROTC Awards from our county high school. And this week, last week or so, we sent information about Constitution Week. I took stuff to the principals in the 5th grade and the high school teacher about Constitution Week. And every year I have done that and given them materials and information about Constitution that they can share. We support Wreaths Across America. And let's see. The DAR has scholarships. I think they have at least 27 monetary scholarships, which you apply for online. Most everything, you just go to dar.org and you can find out that information. They also have essay contests for 5th, 6th, and 7th grades, and then they have something for high school about American patriots. So children can write an essay and they get an award certificate, and by the time they get to national, they can get a monetary award. So those things are available. We support community projects, Service to America, and community schools. We do conservation projects. This year we're collecting, or last year we started collecting old batteries so they can be disposed of properly. So if you have old batteries, give it to a DAR member and Joanne will put them in the right place. We have workshops that are available to all members. We have state meeting, as he mentioned, he has one. We have a national meeting in June. We have a district meeting in July. And there is a Children of the American Revolution, and there are women junior members. You can be a junior member up to 35, I think. You are still a member of the DAR, but there's a group of junior women. We have a president general who changes every 3 years. This year, our president is Jenny Sebastian Storage, and she is from Virginia. Is that right? She just became an officer in July. So this is a magazine. We get a magazine every 2 months, and they're really good. They have very good articles in them. And with the magazine comes the Daughters magazine. And in the Daughters magazine, it has everything on the committees, and I wrote down how many committees we have. I think we have 30-some committees from schools, patriotism, education, preservation, genealogy, all of that, lots of different committees, and information is in this book about that. Also with the chapters. Chapters can send in information about things that they have done, and there's a picture in there so they can, all over the country can see these, and the world too, I guess so. We too celebrated Constitution Week yesterday at the exhibit hall, and normally we do it at the Biggs house. We've done it at the church in Robertsonville. We had a little program, and then we went outside and rang the bells. And Peggy Cochran's husband rang the Baptist church bell, so we could hear that bell and celebrate it, mainly because they said in history, when you wanted to get information out, you rang the bell and people would come to the town hall. And that was why they rang the bells. And then they read the Constitution on September 17th. 1787, just like they did the Declaration of Independence. As I said, we do have an exhibit hall now in Robertsonville. We have Revolutionary Experience is what it's called. And we have 5 exhibits, and then another room that has the first exhibition that we did about Robertsonville. So if you haven't been, it's real easy to find. Main Street, Thursday, Friday, Saturday from 1 to 3. So please come see us. Just a little bit, he was talking about, I gotta sit down, y'all, my knees are getting shaky. Application processes are not, they're not, what's the word?
Easy.
They're complicated sometimes they're easy. The best thing is if you have a patriot in your family, a person who's a member already, all you have to do is prove lineage, prove connection to that person. This is mine for Thomas Grimes. You have information to fill out. And then there's a page where and everything that you list, you have to have proof of. You were born, you have to have a birth certificate. You were married, you have to have a marriage certificate. You died, you have to have a death certificate. And for your parents, for you, and whoever your relative is going to be. So you have to fill out all of those things. And I was telling Wayne, they kept saying I was a relative of Alexander Brown on my list. I thought, I haven't done that. I don't remember doing Alexander Brown. Well, lo and behold, I did Alexander Brown in 2006. Cinda did it, and so I did it too. My sister did it, so the same thing. We had to have proof of who you are, who your parents are, grandparents. So when you gather all that stuff together, you have right much stuff that you have to send in. Then they have to check it. There is a fee. Back in 2006, it was $75. I don't know what it is now. It's probably more than that now. And if you have to have research done by the genealogist up there, there is a fee for that. But you can try to do your own. You can go to the courthouse. You can go to the family Bibles or proof. I think you need to have the cover. Is that right, Chris? Don't you have to have the front part of the Bible?
There's a whole for the SAR, there's a whole stack that's got to be on print on certain things.
Yeah, you got to have something proving that it came from the Bible. I have pages that my grandmother wrote, and we have the Bible, but I don't even have copies of the pages right now.
We did, I think with mine, I used the page out of the Bible and front cover, including the dates.
Yeah, and a lot of those pages my grandmother wrote, because it was in her family Bible. I think she wrote them. And I am related to Bunnings. My daddy was a Bunning. And in the page of the book it says, Jesse Wed Bunning married Maggie Kratt, I think, for the 3rd time. He had married one lady and she died. He married another one, I think it was her sister, and she died. So he married somebody else, and I think he had children with like Penelope Barker. She had a lot of children based on the 3 husbands that she had. So you have to have proof of all that somewhere in your papers too. So this is the form that you would eventually fill out. And there's the date of, there is the link. You can go online to DAR Patriots, and it comes up with the page. I was looking for Whitfields the other day, and it said there was a Whitfield. And there were like 390 entries for the W's. So I sat there and I went through all the W's, and I got to the end of the W's, and I had not seen the Whitfield, so I had to go back to the beginning again. And I finally found a Whitfield, William Whitfield. And now whether that's my William Whitfield or not, I don't know. I think it probably is, but I'm not sure for that. But so anyway, this is the stuff that you have to have. In Martin County, you can go online to get one of the pages that I had at the exhibit about Martin County Patriots. List the Martin County regiments of militia. Now, whether all these people are from Martin County, I don't know. They served in the militia of that county, but that doesn't necessarily they would mean from Robertsonville or Williamson or whatever. Because some of our folks served in the Halifax district and different things, but you can find a name online for some of these patriots. Martin County residents, patriots who chapter. We have Biggs, Clark, Hines, Lilly, Manning, Mobley, Perry, Robertson, and Robertson. Those are the ones in our chapter whose patriots are. Our chapters of patriots are from Martin County. So we know these. If you have that last name or relative who has that last name, it shouldn't be too hard to find that information. Because what you have to do is prove a connection to somebody, that has gone on and proved that person. So you don't have to have, I was trying to find out where it was on this one. It says, nope, it's not that one, excuse me, y'all. I think it's this one. It proved a connection to my ancestor, but it was through somebody else. It was not a name that I knew, and I can't remember where it is now. Okay. The third generation, the sixth generation was the same as the fifth generation, and the patriot number was given, so that is always there. And Barbara Worthington, dark ancestor Alexander Brown. So she had proved him as a patriot, apparently. And they kind of went from that one and used that as proof. So it's not as complicated as I'm making it sound. It can be. So if you also went to a workshop last year, Craig Scott, who would give a workshop on the Revolutionary War. And there's about 8 or 9 pages, and my ink was running out, so I couldn't make copies. But Wayne said he could take a picture of. Well, I got 4 pages, so I don't know how much you want to do. But in this,
I'll send it out.
okay, he lists all the places that you can go to find information. If you want to find information about the British soldiers, if you want to find information about, let's see. Those that supported the king, the others, Quakers, Anabaptists, and others who just tried to stay out of the way. he has lots of information. So you want to look at this, Wayne, and decide what you want to do. That
I'll scan it all.
you can do some of it. And it's a whole lot of information in there that you can use. I think I have told you everything. Tuesday mornings, the third Tuesday at 11 o'clock. At West End Baptist Church. We have interesting programs. We try to be through in an hour. Then we go to lunch.
Can I ask a quick question
sure.
that maybe you and Chris can answer? If you're starting from absolute scratch, and say you don't know that you're even connected to one of these patriots or any of these groups or whatever, you can call, and you wanted to do this, you would call one of the DAR, either the DAR library or the SAR library, and potentially you could get someone to. How much work do you have to do before they can help you, or you can pay for a service that they will help provide? I mean, how much work would they provide for you to help to assist you in that way, or do you know?
How much does SAR do?
It depends. It depends on you. We need to have some basic information. So what we encourage you to do is go through your lines and go as far as you can. In other words, as far as you've got reference material, we'll lead you down those. And then we can go take those lines and go and start looking. One of the places I go first, and this is how I did it for myself. I started going down my lines, and I went back to thought as I felt like that the men, my grandfathers, because remember, we're tracing our ancestor, we can't use uncles or aunts, we've got to use
Your blood relative.
Direct line.
Direct line. So I'm going to go back to that time period that they lived, and then we're going to look for their connection. And I think y'all probably do something the same way. And once you do that, that's when you start finding out, you start going into the beautiful DAR database. You get into our fledgling Patriot Research System, and you start looking for those ancestors.
You have to have a name. You have to have somebody's name. The Mormon Church when it's Family Search.
Family Search.
Family Search has everybody in the world's name. So you can probably go on there, and if you know, if you have a document, you know who your daddy is, you know who your granddaddy is. Maybe you have something that from a deed of land that he gave to somebody. It has your granddaddy got land from his father, so you have that name. You can go to the public records and wherever county they were living and find those names. So but you got to do some research yourself because they can't.
Well, that's what I'm
Yeah,
asking. How
yeah.
much? So maybe 3 or 4 generations back, if you can produce that information with your birth certificates and whatever, you can prove it that
Right.
way, and then they could potentially assist you with
Right.
whatever. Even if you didn't have a knowledge of anybody that fought in or was participated, they might be pulled. They could go back in time and help you determine maybe whether they're,
So, like I said, this is only 7 generations for this Alexander Brown. That's not really that many, you know. And I knew up to my granddaddy was a Whitfield and his mama, and then her daddy and his daddy. So that's 3 that somebody had to find information on because we did not have that personally. And I don't know if there's SAR charges to do research.
Sometimes, yes.
Okay.
But if it's on us members, typically, if it's the membership doing it, then we don't charge.
Yeah.
Because the members are doing it on their own volunteering.
There is a fee for application, I think. The $75 I saw was for the supplemental, which is what I had for Alexander Brown, that I didn't know I had. So, I think that's gone up too, but the chapter registrar gets a little bit of money to help do some research for her stuff. Isn't that right?
No.
No, she doesn't.
It's all volunteer.
But that goes to, this money goes to the,
They do not want your application at National until you have all the proof ready.
okay.
And if you don't have it ready and they can't connect it, they will send you a letter. And if you can't prove it in so many months, you've lost your money.
Correct.
Mm,
We're
so
the same way, we've gone the same direction.
you have to do a little bit of work because they have a lot of stuff and they have a lot of names and they have a lot of information. But, you kind of have to prove that you belong to that line. So,
And you have to supply all the proofs and you have to do all the work.
Yeah.
Like, for example, mine, which was done back in 2009, I finally found my connection back to Thomas Grimes and, of course, Nathan Mayer. So I handed it to my chapter registrar, and he took it, and I had provided, as far as I could, I provided death certificates, birth certificates, I provided wills, I provided land transfers, deeds, whatnot. Up to a certain point, then he took it. And he pulled from other databases such as Fold3, which is owned by Ancestry.com, one of the greatest places you have to join. It's a membership organization. But you join and you start looking. He had a membership, so I didn't have to join. He found my connection, and within 2 weeks of giving him the information, and luckily all of mine was there because I had some great cousins that put it on Family Search, and it was right. In fact, some of them had even given photocopies of some of the documentation I needed. I had it sent off in 2 weeks, and then in May of 2009, I was sworn in as a member.
Well, that's
It
good.
took about, in my memories, it took about 3 months for the process.
So
Will the SAR take Harkin Grimes' book?
Yes, if I'm not badly certain, we have that book in our genealogical library.
I have that book.
And I think that,
Yeah.
I think they accept that. I
But-
think they accept that.
But they don't accept that lady's book. What's her name?
What, the Smallwood book?
Huh?
But they-
In memory of Mary.
In Miriam, yeah. I don't think.
They don't take that.
Yeah, they don't accept some things that, and like the what book were we just saying, the
Was it the Grimes Llewellyn book?
Smallwood book.
Smallwood book.
Very
Okay.
Smallwood.
See, and Rufus Grimes did a book.
Rufus Grimes, we got a copy of that in the genealogy.
Okay.
library.
And bless his heart, when I was in college, he would send me a postcard. He must have lost the information. He'd send me a postcard every year. He'd say, when were you born? When was your sister born? And I had to send it back to him. So he was trying to write his book, and apparently he would misplace the information that I would give him.
Well,
But
when mine went up, it was, we found connecting primary source documents. We
From
didn't have
him.
these books. We literally traced it back because we found wills and deeds. And specifically the wills. Wills were wonderful. And we were able to go right back to Thomas.
Okay.
It was a good thing. It becomes a labor of love. It becomes a labor of love. The key thing is, I will remind you, and I think you would too, don't get frustrated. Don't get frustrated and throw your hands up. Just be a turtle, not a rabbit. Just slow and steady. Because it may take, like I said, I've seen people put it together in 2 weeks. I've seen people, it take years.
just one more thing. I just want to tell you, the DAR owns 3 buildings in Washington, D.C., the largest buildings owned by women in the world. And it's at 1776D, West Washington, 1776 in Washington, D.C. There are 3 buildings. There is a museum which has many, many, many important things that people have given. There is a library that's also well known, that they have millions of books in that library in there. And they also have started a program where they are trying to spread their membership through accepting African Americans, Native Americans, the French and Spanish. If you have an ancestor in anybody that helped, they are trying to find sources now to help prove those things. I'm sure the SAR is too. Thank you, Chris, for loaning us those uniforms and stuff that we have at Exhibit Hall. Everybody's impressed when they come in and see. He gave us a dress frock and a uniform, right?
Yeah, I gave you
To use.
an artillery officer's uniform, coat, and there is a beautiful, my favorite coat, a red civilian, but wealthy civilian coat. It was actually a replica of a physician's coat. He was a loyalist physician, and just beautiful. I love it. Those are 2 of my favorite garments.
Well, we really appreciate them. They're really beautiful.
You're more than welcome, and if you need to move them to another celebration in the county, you have my permission. Until I need them.
Michael.
Yep.
Okay.
Michael, make your announcement.
Just want to remind everyone that the museum, Oak City, Goose Nest Township Museum will be opening with the grand opening ceremony next Thursday, the 25th at 1 o'clock. Everyone's welcome, and from the following week, it'll be open from Tuesday to Thursdays, each day from 10 to 4.
It's in the town. It's in the town hall building.
Yes, it's 106 East Commerce Street in the town hall.
If you do you have a copy of the Constitution, I'll be happy to give you one. Do you have one?
Sure do.
And you have.